make it. Yay. Look at this. Look at us, guys. Live on Facebook. Tough times call for tough measures.
They do.
So,
They do.
yeah. So anyways, before we begin, I just want anybody who doesn't know me, my name is Laura Wooster. I'm an intuitive medium. And the reason why we're calling this the Spiritual Cafe is because a couple of years ago, I started a group in my office called the Spiritual Cafe, where people come once a month and we get together and we talk about all these really cool stuff that we can't talk about at home with family or co-workers and things. And it's just a great space to share all these things. So I decided to just take it to the next level. So and then start bringing in guests, and we're going to call it Spiritual Cafe Live, and to bring in guests and talk about really cool stuff. And perfect timing for this. I've always wanted to do this. I've just been so extremely busy and haven't had the chance to breathe in order to figure this out. But given the current circumstances, it made it easier to figure out.
Now we do.
Yay!
I know.
So, thanks, guys, for everybody who's tuning in and watching us, and I appreciate it very much. Hopefully you can all hear me okay. I'm assuming you can. So if you can't, just let us know. Anyhow, so what I would like to do is introduce my first Spiritual Cafe Live guest, Dorothy and Nona Morgan. We go way back, don't we, Dorothy?
Yeah, 12, 13 years.
Yeah, back when I used to have a radio program on Achieve Radio.
Yes,
the Path.
That's right.
Dorothy was one of my frequent guests, and we would actually, I think once a month probably, or even
I think so.
More often. She was my go-to astrology person to come on board and talk about the recent astrology that everybody was focused on and had questions about. So yeah, we go way back.
I know, it's crazy. I know.
I can't believe it's been 10 years. I don't know how that happened. I really don't. 10 years with the radio program.
Yeah, you did do that for a very long time. It was.
Yeah, pretty cool.
And other shows with Ron Colick, Ghost Chronicles. I've done a lot of that, and yeah, you know, always at Circles of Wisdom and all kinds of good stuff, right?
Yep, exactly.
So here we are.
Here we are. Who would think, right? So I just wanted to ask you this, and I'm going to put you on the spot just for a little bit here, and I apologize.
Oh no!
I wasn't going to tell you. I didn't tell you I was going to do this. Did you, in all your readings and all, in your looking at the charts for this time and everything for this year, did you see this coming in any way?
I did see it coming, but
okay,
that's not my focus.
Right.
Because my focus, which is how I'll share tonight, and most people who know me, my focus after I've been doing this for 30 years, and it's just come to the point where I really want to help the individual and just people understand how they can use what's going on in their own lives. So as a Gemini, which is one of the personal signs, because it's one of the first 4 signs, I really focus in on that no matter what's going on in the world. This is right in our face. And that's what I'm going to explain about how I still want us to look at some of these things. Just with some of the bigger aspects that are going on. And I mean, I'm listening to a lot of the astrologers that do that mundane astrology, it's called. It's when they look at global events and nations and things like that. And, that's for the people who are definitely interested in the transpersonal stuff and the mundane astrology. And I mean, they have predicted this. A few people have. And the point is the planet will regulate. There's quite a few things happening all at once. It's not just one thing. We have a lot of astrologers out here, giving as much support as we can, just trying to explain it out, because people want to know. People want to have answers why or how or when is it going to end. And in all honesty, nobody can really say when it's going to end, and nobody can actually even say when it exactly started. Sort of November. They're looking at the eclipses we had the end of December, early January, and there are so many components to this. It's not just one thing. So, but the big thing I was watching because I prepare a year forecast, and I do that like in November, December, January. And for 2020, I kept seeing kept focusing on when Jupiter and Pluto were coming together, and they come together exact in a couple of days. And Jupiter expands, and Pluto is the planet that is responsible, or the rulership of pandemics, things that really change everything. And so we have this massive, big pile up where all the planets are in the sky compared to the zodiac belt around us: Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto. Saturn just moved into Aquarius. I'll talk about that. And
bring it down to my level, because
they're all of these things together. Yeah, you're right. All of these things together, all of this Capricorn stuff together is breaking down foundations and structure. And it's breaking down all of that structure and all of the systems that we have in place, because it's not working anymore. We've been saying this for a long time, that Pluto and Capricorn, Saturn and Capricorn will break down structures, especially the last couple of years, that are no longer working and are no longer viable or useful. But now we need those systems to get things back into order. And that's the shift that's just happened. It happened yesterday when Saturn entered the sign of Aquarius. Now, what that means is Saturn is all about structure, foundations, boundaries, restrictions, fear. In the sign of Aquarius, Aquarius is about socializing, groups, humanitarian, global, all of concerns, freedom. Saturn, again, just moved in here. And so that is restrictions in socializing, restrictions in our groups. But in a positive way, it's also will show us in time, how groups that are together, how things are working globally or in groups or in governments, and how they're not working. And over this coming year and further, this will go, there's other things in play too, but over this coming year, we're going to be able to see more. Because when we get into fear, it triggers every little thing, especially none of us have seen a situation like this ever.
Right.
And Capricorn, again, where all the planets are piled up right now, it brings up fear. And so all of the things that have been triggered that we haven't healed or worked through or handled, because, life is busy and there are some things in there we just, sometimes we don't want to work on stuff. But then the isolation is bringing a lot of internal work for all of us. And that is part of what the astrology is showing us. And in a day, let me get the exact time. When I was looking at all of this, again, forecasting what I feel the energies are, and the energies that happen, and whatever happens is what happens, and how we respond to it is our level of consciousness and where we're going to respond to it, right? People who are freaking out and hoarding things and buying guns and then there's us spiritual warriors, and it's not that we're not nervous about this and freaking out in our own ways too, but then it's like, okay, how can I help? How can I serve? And so from our own consciousness, we're all doing something different, but whatever is helpful for us. So we have the new moon coming up.
When's that?
Yep, I'm getting to it.
Sorry.
You beat me to it. Gemini rising.
Oh, sorry.
All right. Yeah, that's the thing about the astrology. I might say an astrology word or two, but I promise the next couple of sentences will explain what it is.
Thank you.
So you're welcome. That's what I try to do the most. I mean, I'm coming from an astrological point of view, so I am going to say some of these astrology words, but I promise the next few sentences will be
translate.
I'll translate. So Mercury was retrograde for a while, and as of tonight, tomorrow, he's back up to speed. I'm going to explain what that means. So that means moving forward at a very fast pace. He's in the sign of Pisces, and in Mercury in the sign of Pisces, we're confused and we're not getting clear messages. All right. And he was retrograde in that sign. So for the 3-4 weeks, when all of this was really blooming, but people weren't talking and telling us the truth, and that's whatever that is, we'll park that one. But whenever we park that, but all of the energy of Mercury and Pisces is confusion, This is the negative piece of it, or the harder way to use it. It's confusion, misunderstandings, not getting clear information. The positive side, and a positive way to use Mercury now moving forward at a normal pace, for his pace, is through spiritual practices, through music, through meditation, through chanting. Some people on another negative side, too much drinking, smoking a little whatever, gummies, whatever people doing their thing. So escapism, or facing what is coming up, so you're able to clear and cleanse and work through that in a spiritual practice. And that is what I recommend all of us do. I've been meditating more than ever because I'm not busy, I'm quiet, I'm just doing a few things here and there, and it's making a difference. Last night, I'm not kidding, last night, this is so weird, I haven't told anybody yet, I was listening to a channeler, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I got to get my notebook, and I have 3 pages. Something just came out of me, automatic writing. And I was like, holy Toledo. I mean, I was kind of here, and I could tell I wasn't. It was the weirdest thing. I've never done that before. I just started writing and writing and writing, and I'm like, woo. Oh my God. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So new moon on the 24th. East coast of the US, it is at 5:28 a.m. All right, so you'll have to adjust for your time zone. Now, so when we get to the new moon, and the way I've seen these 2 weeks coming up for the last 6 months doing this 2020 broadcast forecast I was doing, I've always seen it as a period of growth and expansion. The new moon in Aries is about, what do I need to initiate action? It is all about me as an individual, and what's happening, we're getting isolated so we can figure out what we want. I did not see it this way. I saw it as just, it's a new moon. We have no planets retrograde right now. Mercury is speeding along. This is growth and expansion for the next 2 weeks, big growth and expansion. Now, on the negative side, if we don't really keep maintaining our social distancing, the virus will have its period of expanding over the next 2 weeks. Now, that's not great news, but we're doing our best. Everybody, hopefully, is doing their best to do what we're told, keep constraint, stay away, blah, blah, blah. That can be minimized. But what I want us to do on this personal level, from Gemini level, is take this information and start doing something new. I mean, I had that channel thing last night. You and I have been wanting to do live stuff forever. I mean, and not even that we wanted to do it together, we did, but it just happened this way. But this is new. And the new moon isn't until Tuesday, but I don't care, we're close. And so we're doing new things. So everybody out there, find something and do your new moon rituals. I know a lot of you watching and listening do new moon stuff, and really isolate and decide what it is you want, what personally is going to work for you. And that is like the big message right now over the next couple of weeks. And I do a weekly forecast, and most people know that. So you can find me on my YouTube, and it's on my website and all of that. So that's like the bigger picture. And there's lots and lots of details, but I just want you to recognize that from the 24th to April 7th, there is the waxing lunar phase, no retrograde planets. We'll launch projects, get stuff initiated while there is more time to do it.
And the energy is supporting that, obviously.
Energy is supporting that, I've just, constantly. And it really goes, we actually have no retrogrades all the way until, let me get my calendar here, all the way until April 25th. So it really is, I mean, the 2 weeks that I just mentioned, April 24th to March 24th to April 7th, that's really high speed ahead. So just start planting seeds everywhere. I literally planted some seeds, and they bloomed. They started to sprout within 1 day. The spinach is still holding out. It hasn't popped yet, but the lettuce went poof in 1 day. It was fantastic. So I'll have to transplant soon, right? But the thing is, we still have up until the 24th. So when we get to April,
real seeds and figuratively as well, right?
Indeed. And so when we get to April 24th, this is just kind of how I'm feeling. again, it depends on we as a humanity and as a, you know, species, how we manage what we need to manage. When Pluto retrogrades on the 24th, that means for a week or two before that, he's stationary. It means he's not moving, and he is, in the way I see it, the biggest culprit out there for this. He's the biggest culprit out there for this. Whoops, sorry, somebody messaged me on Facebook.
Everybody, shh. let her say what she needs to say.
No, he's the biggest culprit for the pandemic, and the Pisces energy is for viruses, right? And so Pluto's going to go retrograde on the 25th of April, and that, the way I see it, means it's going to slow down.
Good.
All right, it's going to slow down, and then, and I know it's going to start to slow down, and we're going to start seeing more results, better, you know, less cases, things like that. And then, and I know this is a few weeks away from then, but when we get to the week of, like, around Mother's Day,
yeah,
on the week of Mother's Day, that Sunday into Thursday, 3 other planets go retrograde. So what that is, when planets are retrograde, and this happens all regularly, but we're going to have a lot of planets retrograde from mid-May all the way until the fall. This, to me, and I feel this too, is when we're going to start to get a little bit of different freedoms back. Things will slowly start to open back up again. It needs to be a slow process, because this virus is still going to go through the population. It's
right.
it just is. But I think by the time we get to May, things will just feel a little different. And
Right.
so that will go. So we have a lot of retrograde planets, you know, really, I mean, some of them trade places, but all the way through September. So, and then in November, we have another important connection between Jupiter and Pluto again.
What does that
So
mean?
that just might mean, because we have that Jupiter Pluto right now for the first time. And so that might mean there's another little resurgence of it. It won't be like what we're feeling and what we're going through now.
A little bit of revisiting in November, but
It will, right. And it doesn't even have to mean that the virus blooms. It just means the deep work and the deep important things that have come up for you during this period. You'll feel it again in that time period in November, but it's never as strong as the first time it comes to us, because the first time anything impacts us, or we're given new energy to deal with, we can be ready as we can be, but we can still be confused and unsure, and we don't know how to handle it, right?
Yeah.
And so
so we'll
that's
be prepared in November if it comes back around again.
yeah.
Okay. I just want to just say hello to a few people. Hi, Lori. Doc from Australia. Thanks for joining us. That's
Yay.
awesome. Yeah, all the way in Australia.
Wow. Hello.
Yeah. Hi, Erica, Sharon. I know there's a bunch of other people to scroll right through, but thank you guys for watching. If anybody has any questions for Dorothy, just go ahead and pop that on there really quickly, and we'll address that. Okay.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you feel that we need to know to kind of help ease our way through the next few weeks? Or what should we already kind of talked about, we need to focus on more going inward and focusing on things that we wanted to go all along. And
I think so. Because I mean, I'm just going to recap what I've already said, because I really just feel that's important, is like to really focus on that. So actually between right now at the recording of this and the 24th, the moon is actually in the balsamic lunar phase. It's one of my favorite phases for some reason, but I mean, I know many reasons why, but this period is a period of deep introspection. And so I know we've talked about that already, because a lot of fears are coming up, but the lunar phase today and tomorrow, and then up to the 24th, is that new moon is a period of deeper introspection. And so that is so important for us. So don't push this off. And I know if you got lots of kids in the house, and that I get it's not always easy to do this. Not everybody has time to do nothing, because a lot of people are working from home and the kids are home now. So I know, but find your own personal time, find that Aries time. That's going to be so important for you, even if you can't do, excuse me, any deep spiritual work. It's going to come back later, so you'll be able to address it later. And Erica, financial situation. I'm actually not a financial astrologer. That is a specialty. And that takes a lot of consideration, and I can't do that off the cuff.
Ah, okay.
There is
I
absolutely no way.
was going to ask you about the financial piece of it. Yeah.
Well, Uranus is in the sign of Taurus, and that means Taurus rules finances, what we value, what we love, the earth resources, beauty. So that's the Taurus is in charge of all of those things. The planet Uranus is in that sign, and it's been in that sign for just a year and a half or so. And we knew that when Uranus went into Taurus, there would be some crazy markets, financial markets, because it is going to go up and down and up and down. It's going to do that for years, because Uranus stays in that sign for like a little over 7 years. He's been in it for about a year and a half. So it's going to go up and down. And Jupiter in the sign of Capricorn, just looking at it financially, and again, this is just like real generic financial stuff. That means constraint in finances. That means there's not a big expanse. That's like things devaluing or getting back to a normal value, because sometimes the market is overinflated.
Yeah.
So we knew that. So that was what the financial astrologers I listened to predicted. They predicted that the market would take a dive this year, and it did. Yeah. It'll take a little while.
We just have to be prepared for just to continue to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know. All right. Very good. So if anybody would like to get in touch with Dorothy and have some insight into what all of this means for you personally, you can go to her website at nhastrologer.com. It's NH as in New Hampshire, astrologer.com.
Yes.
So anybody can connect with you anywhere in the world, because obviously you get Skype and everything, right?
Yeah, I have a conference service. I mean, this isolation is no different. I mean, I'm home all the time. I work from home. This is all I do. So yeah, 80% of my work is always like this. I have my own conference service. So, well, I rent it. I pay for it like that. It's not mine.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
You've also put up those great YouTube videos as well that are really, really helpful. So
yeah, once a week.
Yeah.
Okay. Come and join. Come and subscribe, and you'll be notified. And I have an email list, and I write my forecast out, and I teach. It's all the normal things that we do with what we love, right?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I love being able to have technology like this to be able to reach out to everybody and to stay connected. I can't imagine what right now would be like without Facebook or Zoom or anything like this. I'm so grateful we have this way to connect with everybody.
I know. I'm grateful. I mean, if it's an apocalypse, I mean, I've got a home, I've got food, I've got water, electricity, internet. I mean, I know the other pieces are pretty, that piece does stink. There's no doubt about it. But this is it's still like a blessing. So we have to keep our vibrations high and
focus on what's right in front of us right now. That's how I keep hearing that message. Just focus on what's right in front of us. Don't think too far ahead. Which is good.
Take care of your kids. I had to coddle my little 10-year-old grandson. He's a little stressed about this. He's not sleeping.
I can see that. I'm seeing that with my granddaughter. She's turning 5 tomorrow. And and they can be somewhat oblivious to what's going on, but they know that the people are stressed. There's a change in work patterns, and
they're home
more. So she's a little, like, we try to explain it to her in terms that she understands, but the whole change in pattern is really, like, the daily is really tough on her.
You can only explain it in that level. I know. Because I mean, I took my grandson for a walk this afternoon, because I went to see them before they lock us in our houses for good.
Do you think that's going to happen in the Portsmouth area?
No. The governor of New Hampshire has said he's going to do everything not to do that.
Good.
So of course, it'll be up to the people. If they start really congregating, they'll do it. But we got to be good. It's for our own. It's for our own sake. Which is all good. So work on yourselves as best you can with what you have available to you. All right. That's really the big message right now. And astrology supporting you starting anything new that you want to start at this point in time. And even if it's something as simple, I know this isn't simple to really get started, but if it's something as simple as like, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to bite the bullet. I'm going to go live.
That's what we did. And we did it. Yay.
We did. I know.
So, yeah. But,
It was so good.
So good. I mean, even with I did this the other night in the spiritual cafe, that the virtual spiritual cafe that we had the other night, and I just said, what are some of the things that you've noticed since this all started that you're actually grateful for? Yeah. And I know you mentioned a few things. You got water, you have a roof over your head, you have food. I just realized how quiet it is in the morning, even on the weekdays now. Like the traffic is just so quiet. I can actually hear the birds and the water, and it's like, oh, this is really good.
Yeah, it does. You can feel it just feels lighter, even though there's this piece, but it feels lighter. I mean, I always can hear the birds, but but still, I don't hear the traffic, the highway traffic, because it's, as a crow flies, there's a highway near everybody at this point in life. But I don't hear that. I don't hear that anymore, because Route 95 is, as a crow flies, like a half a mile from here. So
yeah, I do. I have a road that goes up into New Hampshire too. So it's like, I don't hear that in the morning. It's kind of eerie, but
I know.
Time. Yeah.
It is. Oh, hi, Susan. Hi, Susan. Susan Morgan.
Oh, hi, Susan. So Susan, you're in.
She's in Las Vegas. She's in Las Vegas.
How are things in Las Vegas, Susan? How are things going?
My sister lives there, and everything's shut down.
Oh, it must be really quiet. I can't imagine. It's so unnerving there.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, hi, Susan. Great to see you online.
Stephanie. It's going to be nice to say that again.
This is going to be a nice challenge for us impatient Aries types.
Yep.
But it's taking it one day at a time is the key. Exactly.
Yep. Perfect.
Thanks, Stephanie.
Yeah.
Exactly. Take it one day at a time.
It is, because Aries is and this isn't, I'm not saying this in a negative way. Aries is short-sighted, and not negatively. Aries just says, oh, I want that. Oh, I want that. Just think of a child, a young child. They're just like, boom, I'm going to do this, and boom. And that's what we need to do. And that's, again, back to staying present. And that, again, has to do with, being in the present moment. And what do I need right now? And even if you're you get into a meltdown and you start crying because you're scared or freaked out, well, then you're in that for that moment. Don't get mad at yourself. Just like, oh, I'm in it. Whew. All right. But then lift yourself back out and then go on. Yeah. We can't deny that this is scary, but we can also take advantage of all of the other things that are going on too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hi, Karen.
Here is Susan. Mandatory 30-day shutdown. Well, Susan, you needed a vacation. You were working really hard, woman. Yeah.
What can a Gemini expect? Oh, my husband.
Funny, Gary.
I'll get him a private session with you.
Okay. Sounds good. I'm a Gemini too, Gary. So, we've been through the ringer in a bunch of different ways. Capricorn, all this Capricorn stuff makes this really hard angle to all the Gemini stuff. So Geminis have had to have the last year and a little bit longer, actually the last 2 years, we've been making all these adjustments. And as soon as you make an adjustment, something else shows up. So you have to make another adjustment. There's no sitting still. Yeah. Yeah, Susan, I did. Yay. Good.
Hi, Karen. Hello.
Oh, hi, Karen. Yes.
Nice to see you, Karen. How's your black lab? I miss her. I haven't seen her in so long. Let's see. Anybody else? Okay. I think we got everybody, but thanks everybody for joining us tonight. Yeah. And I'd love to see, again, if anybody wants to connect with Dorothy, go to nhastrologer.com, check out our YouTube videos. And I highly recommend getting a private session with her and see how all of this affects you and what to look forward to, what you need to work on, all those things. So it's very helpful to see why this is all happening specifically for you, and rather than just as a group.
Thank you, Karen.
So just tomorrow, I just want to mention tomorrow night, I'm going to be on with Dr. Jeff O'Driscoll. And I guarantee you're going to want to see this. This is an amazing story that this man has, and he leads an amazing life. So I'm so excited to talk to him. So thank you, Dorothy, for
Thank
being
you.
here. We'll have to do this again.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. It's always fun talking to you. We could talk for hours.
Oh, we can. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, the cauliflower at Burton's.
Oh, next time. What soon? Soon. That's so good.
It's so good.
General Tso's cauliflower. Oh my
At
God. You
Burton's.
never
When
know
we
you're
get
not
back out
eating
to the
chicken.
restaurants. Yeah.
So good.
Very good. Well, thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you,
Thank you.
guys. All
Thank
right.
you,
Take
everybody.
care. Bye-bye.